She thought she was going to work. Instead, she walked into a nightmare. A Detroit man waits in a parking lot, a gun tucked in his waistband. His wife pulls in for her shift at a Sterling Heights rehab facility. Within seconds, shots ring out. Employees run for cover. A woman is pistol whipped in broad daylight. And behind it all, a discovery that would shake any family to its core. DNA results reportedly showing that 3 children he believed were his were not biologically his. What happened that morning in Macomb County? And how did a domestic dispute escalate into attempted murder charges? Welcome to True Crime, the real story. Today we examine the case of a violent domestic shooting that unfolded outside a Michigan workplace. The charges filed against 37-year-old Deshaun Flood of Detroit and the family revelations investigators say were part of the background tension leading up to the attack. Officials have not disclosed when those tests were conducted or how the results were obtained, but sources familiar with the case state the findings were known before the shooting. Prosecutors have not officially introduced the DNA findings as evidence in court at the arraignment stage, but investigators confirm the information was part of the broader domestic tension. Flood allegedly arrived at the facility parking lot before his wife's shift began. When she pulled into the lot, he approached her vehicle. According to charging documents, Flood reached toward a firearm in his waistband as she attempted to exit her car. She immediately sought safety. Investigators state the victim tried to take cover inside a co-worker's vehicle parked nearby. As she attempted to shut the door, Flood allegedly prevented it from closing. That is when police say he fired multiple shots toward her. Witnesses described chaos, employees ducking behind cars, people running toward the building, screams echoing through the lot. The victim and her co-worker managed to escape through the driver's side and ran toward the facility entrance. But prosecutors say Flood chased her. Once he caught up, authorities allege he pistol whipped her multiple times in the head. The assault occurred in broad daylight, in front of witnesses. Sterling Heights police responded rapidly to multiple 911 calls reporting shots fired. Officers arrived and took Flood into custody at the scene. The weapon was recovered. Emergency responders transported the victim to a local hospital. Officials later confirmed she had been shot multiple times, but her injuries were not considered life-threatening. The co-worker was not physically injured. On July 31, 2025, Flood was arraigned in 41A District Court in Sterling Heights. He faces 2 counts of assault with intent to murder, 1 count of felon in possession of a firearm, 3 counts of felony firearm under Michigan law. Assault with intent to murder carries a potential life sentence. Bond was set at $1 million cash or surety. If released, Flood would be required to wear a GPS tether and have no contact with the victim. A probable cause conference was scheduled for August 7th, followed by a preliminary examination on August 14th before Judge Anne Marie Lepore. Macomb County Prosecutor Peter Lucido addressed the severity of the case, stating that the office would pursue full accountability through the justice system and emphasize the commitment to protecting victims of violent crime. Authorities stress that Flood is presumed innocent until proven guilty in court. Now, here's where this case takes a deeply emotional turn. Investigative sources indicate that prior to the shooting, DNA testing reportedly revealed that 3 children Flood believed were biologically his were not. Officials have not confirmed who initiated the testing or whether it was court-ordered. Prosecutors have not formally argued that the DNA results establish motive. However, law enforcement acknowledges that domestic violence cases often involve complex emotional stressors. Legal analysts note that if the DNA findings are introduced, it would likely occur during pre-trial motions or sentencing phases rather than at arraignment. Importantly, authorities confirm the children were not present during the shooting. They were not physically harmed. No identifying information about them has been released. Although full witness interviews have not been publicly released, charging documents reference a co-worker who attempted to shield the victim and flee the scene. That co-worker's quick thinking may have prevented further harm. Parking lot employees reported hearing multiple gunshots. Some described seeing Flood pursue the victim on foot. Police have not released surveillance footage publicly, but investigators confirm evidence from the scene is being processed. Sterling Heights residents expressed shock that such violence unfolded outside a healthcare facility. Domestic violence advocates in Macomb County are urging victims to seek help before conflicts escalate. Local organizations have emphasized that emotional betrayal or family disputes do not justify violence. Nationally, firearm-related domestic incidents remain a major concern. According to federal crime data, intimate partner shootings continue to represent a significant portion of aggravated assaults involving firearms. Experts consistently warn that domestic disputes combined with access to weapons create high-risk situations. This case now becomes part of that broader national conversation. At this time, neither Flood's mother nor father have been publicly identified in court records. No public statements have been issued by either parent. Court filings do not indicate parental involvement in the incident or post-arrest proceedings. Should mitigation arguments arise later, family background could potentially be discussed during sentencing phases. For now, authorities remain focused on the alleged actions of the defendant on July 29th. The August hearings will determine whether sufficient evidence exists to bind the case over to Macomb County Circuit Court. If that occurs, Flood could face trial on all counts. The prosecution will rely on witness testimony, ballistic evidence, and medical documentation of the victim's injuries. The defense may challenge intent, circumstances, or admissibility of certain evidence. Until then, the legal process continues. A workplace parking lot became a crime scene. A family dispute became felony charges. And 3 children are now at the center of a tragedy that will unfold in a courtroom. Was this premeditated? Was it an emotional breaking point? Or will the defense present an entirely different narrative? That is what the justice system will now determine. We will continue to follow this case and bring you verified updates as they happen. If you believe in facts over speculation and truth over rumor, make sure you are subscribed to True Crime: The Real Story, because every headline has layers, and we uncover them. Until next time, this is True Crime: The Real Story.